fundamentally justifying why is it important for PMs to learn AI evals?
Yeah, so I'm going to call today's class the masterclass on creating effective evaluations, and understand that I'm going to follow this approach that initially. So I want to give the agenda beforehand so that you are able to take time and make sure that whenever you're watching this episode, you are sitting out with a notebook so that you can go ahead and revise and recollect things. So I'll divide this whole section into three parts. The first part is we'll look at an AI product, because if you don't understand what are the nuances of an AI product, you'll not understand what evaluations are. Then I'll give you a quick 5-minute introduction of what evaluations are so that you understand what we are talking about. After that, we'll give you like a quick introduction to evals. I'm going to talk about the nature of large language models, what are the metrics for evaluations, and then I'll give you an end-to-end flow of how to create evaluations for almost any kind of product. Whether you are talking about agents, you're talking about simple chatbots, or you're talking about some enterprise-grade products. And eventually, I'm going to go ahead and give you some tips for writing effective evaluations. And then I'm going to give you an end-to-end case study of how a company might do evaluations. So that is the agenda that we are going to follow today. Now, before I could go ahead and talk about evals, let's talk about the fundamental building blocks of GenAI product and why it is different. So far, most of us have been creating products which were very deterministic in nature. But if I go ahead and talk about the nature of a GenAI product, these are some of the critical components. Let's say one of the component is the language model. I'm not calling it a large language model because there are also some useful small language models. So we'll only use language models. Then we have the context engineering part, which is data that you give from RAG or something, or the prompt that you put. Then we have tools. Then we have orchestration, how things are going to connect with each other. And then we also take care of the user experience, how the user is going to interact, how do you include humans in the loop, how do you take care of latency and all, right? So these are, I would say, 5 critical components. But now the issue here is that this particular part, the language models, it is not deterministic. For similar kind of inputs, it can give you different kind of outputs. So it is almost like a lion in a circus, where you have to make sure that although you know about the nature of the lion, which is it's a beast, but as a ringmaster of the circus, you need to make sure that you are able to tame that behavior and show like a good circus or a good product. So that is why we need evaluations. And there are other things also that are going to matter for the evaluations, which we are going to go ahead and talk about. So this is the reason why we need evaluations, because there is indeterministic nature or stochastic nature for the large language models. Now, before I could go deep into the evals part to make everyone understand what evaluations are, I'll take a very simple case study. It will only take, let's say, 4 or 5 minutes. So let's say we are creating a AI first job website. And the use case is very simple. Let's say I want to apply for a job. Every one of us who's applying for a job, we need some information. The information is the product is that I will crawl the major job portals of the world, maybe the LinkedIn, the Hired, or the Angel.co of the world. After that, I'm going to put that job description through a large language model. It could be any of these large language model or something better. And then I am going to enhance that job description, make it more, I would say, much better for the candidates, because I'm going to enhance it into summary of the job description, possible interview questions from the job description for that job, what are the skills that you need, what is the learning guide if you are really seriously preparing for it. And if you think you are prepared, we are also going to give you quiz for assessment. So this we are creating from the small piece of information that we have got from the job description. And I'm sure that many of the people who are looking for jobs would definitely find this interesting. So this is like a simple product. You can also call it a wrapper on the top of an LLM, right? Now, even if I do this, I will understand that I cannot trust large language models to do this job really, really well. So what I'll do is, in order to understand that whether I'm giving the right output to the users and all this information is done correctly, what I'll do is, I will try to evaluate this. And by evaluation, I mean what I'll do is, I will use some or the other method to make sure that whatever the content is being generated, it is factual, accurate, correct, helpful, and maybe some other kind of parameters are being satisfied. For example, I want to make sure that the summary of the job description should be less than 300 words. Otherwise, it's not a summary. I want to make sure that the skills that are needed are actually real product management skills. And I also want to make sure that the learning guide that I'm creating is actually an actionable guide and the model is not hallucinating. So what I'll do is I'll generate all of this, then I'll write an evaluation, and then I will understand whether my prompt, my model are working correctly or not. Because it might happen that initially I've given a prompt, but it is not able to work correctly. Or maybe I need to choose between whether I should use GPT-5 or I should be okay with maybe GPT-3 or GPT-4, which is a cheaper API.
You know that feeling when you try to prototype something with AI and it spits out something completely generic? Then you spend hours tweaking colors, fonts, copy, and features just to make it feel like your actual product? Here's the problem. Most AI app builders aren't built for product teams. They're built for those starting from scratch. But product teams aren't building from zero. You have an existing product, real customers, design guidelines, a backlog full of ideas you need to explore and validate fast. That's what Reforge Build does. AI prototyping that starts from your product. Add your customer feedback, strategy docs, and product features as context. Create reusable templates using your product design, explore multiple variants side by side, collaborate with your team in one place. Reforge Build generates prototypes that reflect your real pricing tiers, real features, real customer language, not generic placeholder. Stop fighting tools built for founders. Start prototyping like a product team. Reforge Build, AI prototyping built for product teams. Try it free at reforge.com/Akash. That's REFORGE.com/AAKASH. And use the code BUILD for 1 month free of premium. I hope you enjoyed that short clip. You can check out the full episode here.